Have you ever wondered what is running behind the scenes of your favorite website? What if you could uncover the technologies, the frameworks, and even vulnerabilities hidden beneath that surface? So, WhatWeb is a tool you need if you are serious about reconnaissance and security testing. WhatWeb lets you identify the technologies running on a website. Everything from the server software to the CMS and even potential security issues. In this video, we'll guide you through the installation, running basic scan, and digging deeper with advanced options. By the end, you would have WhatWeb running smoothly on Kali Linux, and you would know exactly how to use it to learn more about websites you come across. So in using WhatWeb, it's not always about knowing what's running on a website. It's about using that knowledge to perform security assessments, optimize websites, or even track your competitors. Now that we know why WhatWeb is awesome, let's get it running on Kali Linux. Kali Linux is packed with tools for penetration testing, and WhatWeb is no exception. It is available right in the repositories, so installing it is simply a breeze. So just like installing any other application, WhatWeb can be easily installed by opening up your terminal and typing in apt install WhatWeb. Now WhatWeb actually comes pre-installed on almost all Kali Linux. Exactly, it comes pre-installed in Kali Linux. However, if you run into an issue where WhatWeb is not installed or you're running it on a totally different distro, simply open up your terminal and type in apt install WhatWeb, and then you hit enter. Now I already have WhatWeb installed just as I showed you, so therefore I'm not going to install it again. So now that we have WhatWeb installed, it is time to test out some basic commands on how WhatWeb really is and how it works. So first of all, we'll have to choose our website, our target. So we're going to be targeting ultrabluetestlabs.com. Performing unauthorized scanning can get you in trouble, and so if you're scanning a site, either get explicit permission or use a test site of your own. So unlike using other tools, WhatWeb is very easy to use. To run WhatWeb, simply type in WhatWeb space, then you pull out the website you want to test. So for this tutorial, we want to be testing UltraBlue test sites, testlabs.com. So http and that's basically it. All you have to do is hit enter, and WhatWeb will start its job. So our result just came in, so let's go ahead and break it down. So right on top over here, we could see Apache 2.4.1 into bracket Ubuntu. This tells us that the server is running Apache, which is this, which is one of the most common web servers found around. It is on version 2.4.1 and the OS here is Ubuntu. Nothing too surprising so far, but it is good to know what's under the hood. Now, let's move on to the headers. The headers provide extra details like how the server handles things. For example, the context type right here, the whole of this part of the header here tells us a lot. So what exactly does this tell us? The context type header is text or HTML here, this points here. It tells us that the site is serving HTML in UTF-8 encoding, and the X powered here means that PHP is being used to power some parts of the site. So X powered by PHP tells us that some form of PHP is being used in some part of the site. So now let's move on to the technologies, and you could see that we have WordPress here listed. So WordPress actually version 5.7.1. Yep, This is WordPress website version 5.7.1. It is detected right here. WordPress is a huge target for hackers because it is so popular, so knowing the exact version can help you identify if there are known vulnerabilities with a specific version we already have here. So it detected a WordPress theme which was 2021. Now, what exactly does that mean? It is the default WordPress theme and it is being used here. If the theme has any specific weakness, knowing it helps us focus on potential attack points. Now, it also found one plugin. So, Yoast SEO is a very popular plugin for WordPress. It helps with search engine optimization. It is actually version 14.8, which is useful for identifying if there are any known issues or vulnerabilities tied to this specific version. Now, let's move on to JavaScript libraries. So we have jQuery here, jQuery 3.5.1 here, telling us that this site is using jQuery. It is actually a very popular JavaScript library. In this case, it is version 3.5.1, and knowing the version again can help us see if there are any security flaws tied to this specific version of jQuery. So you could search online, get some exploits, and then you exploit them. Next is SSL/TLS. So it's actually a protocol, and it is running on version 1.2. This is good because TLS version 1.2 is a secure encryption protocol for website. It's the kind of encryption that keeps your data safe when you are browsing. So, and you have an encoding here. This is actually a very strong and modern suite which provides a high level of security. And then we have SSL certificates, and let's encrypt. This site is using a Let's Encrypt SSL certificate, which means it's encrypted properly. It's valid until 2025, so that's good for a while. So now moving on to web application firewalls. So you can see Cloudflare WAF detected. The WAF simply means web application firewall detected. So what this basically means is that this site is using Cloudflare's website application. The firewall, or WAF, which means it is extra protected against attacks like SQL injections and XSS. Cloudflare is good at blocking malicious traffic, so that's a plus for security. Now, let me bring this down small. So we also have cookies right here. So this here, this cookie is specific to WordPress. It stores user preferences, likely for things like theme settings or other personalizations. And then we also have WPS setting time 4. This one stores the time the WP setting cookies were set, helping WordPress know when to refresh your settings. So now move on to main page. We have 200. Okay, what this specifically means is that the main page loaded successfully with no issues. Everything is fine here. And then the last part of the scan showed that the WP admin page is redirected to the login page right here. This is normal for WordPress sites to ensure users go through the login page first instead of directly accessing the admin panel. So the scan finished pretty quickly, only taking 0.9 seconds, scanning through 5 pages. So in a nutshell, WhatWeb did its thing by pulling back a lot of info on the tech stack, potential vulnerabilities, and security measures in place. All in all, it seems like a pretty secure site, but knowing these details will help us better understand its setup and any potential risk. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into WhatWeb. Whether you are testing your own website or conducting a security audit, or just curious about how websites are built, WhatWeb is an indispensable tool for recognitions. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the Ultra Blue channel for more in-depth tutorials. Your support helps us keep bringing you content that dives deep into the world of cybersecurity. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.